The cafe terrace was crowded with the hum of late afternoon conversations, the clinking of glasses, and the smell of fresh espresso. Lily sat at a small round table near the edge, her slim figure framed by the soft Parisian light. She wore her favorite red lipstick, the color bold against her porcelain skin, and her long hair caught the warm breeze. Sean spotted her as he passed by, an Australian soldier on holiday, still carrying himself with that effortless confidence that uniformed men never quite lose, even when they trade boots for casual clothes. He caught her glance, and just for a second, the world seemed to slow. "Mind if I sit here?" he asked with an easy grin, pointing to the empty chair beside her. Lily felt her heart skip, not just from his voice, deep and warm, but from the way his striking blue eyes met hers. Eyes like the ocean, calm yet full of adventure. She smiled, a little shy, though her lipstick gave her courage. "Of course," she said softly, her French accent turning the words into music. As he sat, Sean leaned closer than he needed to, his smile teasing. "You look far too elegant to be sitting here alone. Waiting for someone?" Lily shook her head, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "No, just waiting for life, perhaps." Sean laughed, low and genuine, and she admired the way the sunlight lit his face. "Then I suppose life has arrived," he said, his tone playfully flirtatious. She blushed but didn't look away. Instead, she found herself staring into his eyes again, unable to resist. They were hypnotic, so bright, so alive. She had never seen eyes like that before, and it made her wonder what stories they had already witnessed. "Your eyes," she whispered before she could stop herself. Sean tilted his head, clearly enjoying her fascination. "My eyes? What about them?" "They are very beautiful," she admitted, her voice almost a sigh. His grin widened. "I could say the same about yours, but then I'd be understating things. You're absolutely stunning, Lily." The air between them seemed charged, each word and smile drawing them closer, as if they'd known each other for far longer than a handful of heartbeats. After the coffees were finished, Sean rose and held out his hand. "Come on, Lily," he said, his accent warm, inviting. "A beautiful woman like you shouldn't spend the evening just sitting in a cafe." She hesitated only for a moment before slipping her slender hand into his. His grip was firm yet gentle, and something about it made her feel safe, even though she had only just met him. They strolled along the cobblestone streets, the golden glow of the street lamps painting everything in soft light. Sean pointed out little details she had never noticed about her own city. The shape of the rooftops, the echo of music drifting from an open window, the laughter of children playing by the fountain. "You see Paris every day," he said, his eyes twinkling. "But for me, this feels like a dream." Lily smiled, glancing up at him. She couldn't stop herself from admiring those incredible blue eyes again. They seemed even brighter beneath the night sky. "You are the dream," she whispered, not sure if she meant for him to hear, but he did. Sean chuckled softly, turning to face her as they paused on a quiet bridge overlooking the Seine. The water shimmered with the reflection of the city lights. "I've traveled to a lot of places," he said, his tone more serious now. "But nothing I've seen compares to this moment with you." Her breath caught, and for a moment she didn't know what to say. She looked down, nervous, only for Sean to gently lift her chin with his hand. His touch was careful, respectful, but the pull between them was undeniable. "Lily," he whispered. She leaned closer without thinking, her heart racing, her red lips parting slightly as if inviting the inevitable. The world seemed to fade, the noise of the city, the people passing by, until it was just the two of them, caught in the electricity of a perfect Paris night. The Seine glittered beneath them, the rippling reflections of Paris shimmering like 1,000 tiny stars. Lily could feel her pulse in her ears, her breath quickening as Sean's hand lingered lightly under her chin, tilting her face up to his. For a heartbeat, they just stared at one another, caught in the weight of the moment. His blue eyes seemed to draw her in, as if they held secrets of faraway lands and battles she could only imagine. She wanted to drown in them, to lose herself completely. Sean leaned in slowly, giving her the chance to pull away if she wished. But she didn't. She wanted this. Needed this. Her lips parted slightly and then, softly, delicately at first, their mouths met. The kiss was tender, almost tentative, but the spark it ignited was anything but. It was a rush of warmth, of sweetness, of something far stronger than either of them had expected to feel in a chance meeting. When they finally parted, Lily's cheeks were flushed, her lipstick leaving the faintest trace of red on Sean's lips. She laughed nervously, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Forgive me, I don't usually—" Sean grinned, still close enough that she could feel his breath. "Neither do I, but some things you just can't fight." Her heart fluttered and she couldn't help but smile. Hand in hand, they stood together on the bridge, as if Paris itself had paused just to witness their beginning. After their night on the Seine, they couldn't bring themselves to say goodbye. Sean was only supposed to stay in Paris for 2 days before heading to Italy, but Lily made a spontaneous decision. She would go too. With her small suitcase clattering behind her, she boarded the train beside him. The ride was long but felt like minutes. Sean told stories of his service, carefully, lightly, leaving out the darker edges, while Lily listened with rapt attention. She countered with tales of her childhood in Lyon, her dream of being an artist, and the way she secretly kept a journal full of sketches and thoughts. When they arrived in Florence, the city greeted them with golden domes, cobbled alleys, and the smell of fresh pizza. They wandered hand in hand, stopping for gelato, laughing when Sean smudged chocolate on her nose. That night, from the steps of Piazzale Michelangelo, they kissed again, this time with the city lights stretching endlessly below them. In Rome, Sean insisted they throw a coin into the Trevi fountain together. "2 coins mean you'll fall in love," he teased, holding her hand as they tossed them in. Lily laughed, but her heart knew it was already true. They spent their days exploring ruins, walking through the Colosseum as Sean imagined gladiator battles, his arms slung casually around her shoulders. She teased him for his playful seriousness, but secretly, she loved the way he carried himself. Strong, protective, yet so open with her. At night, in a candlelit trattoria, he leaned closer and whispered, "If I could stop time, I'd stop it here, with you." Further north, in Prague, the romance deepened. Snowflakes drifted through the air as they crossed Charles Bridge, the old statues standing silent witness to their closeness. Lily pulled her scarf tighter as Sean wrapped his arm around her, keeping her warm. She admired how his blue eyes sparkled against the winter sky. "You make me feel safe," she whispered, leaning her head against him. "And you," Sean said, kissing the top of her hair, "make me feel alive again." They found themselves in a small jazz bar that evening, where Sean surprised her by pulling her into a slow dance, her red lipstick leaving faint marks on his cheek by the end. In Vienna, surrounded by the grandeur of palaces and music that seemed to float from every corner, Sean began to wonder aloud what came next. "I have to return to Australia soon," he admitted. "But maybe this doesn't have to end here." Lily's heart tightened. She wanted to believe it could last forever. Yet she was still a young woman, wide-eyed, still learning what love really meant. And yet, as they sat in a horse-drawn carriage through the city, wrapped in a blanket together, she knew her life had already changed. She had started this journey alone, a little naive, waiting for life to surprise her. And life had answered with Sean.